Hey y'all, the mental wealth tree is back. And here at the mental wealth tree, we are going to help you go from frazzled to dazzled. You are going to go from blah to bliss just like this. They say money don't grow on trees, but mental wealth does. And so we are talking about topics from how to help you feel emotionally better, how to address your physical health, how to be more spiritually rooted and grounded, because all those things combine together to help you live rich now. Today, our topic is some things are worth fighting for. And here at the Mental Wealth Tree, we always start out with a little bit of poetry. This poem is about how sadness, anger, and pain can motivate us to fight for what we really deserve and desire. Recently, I've been reaching for ratchet, or maybe it's reaching for me. Grabbing for a hatchet I thought I buried. But here lately, the pain I've carried wants to express itself as fire, unload itself like a gun for hire, unmask itself like the Joker. No more stone face hiding like I'm playing poker. Put my pissed off on blast. Rev my anger all gas. Erupt with lava of smoldering trauma. Boil over with fury. Stirred up by all this drama. But there is no healing in that. Every time I lash out, the pain boomerangs back. Rage ricochets in a sneak attack. When I pop off, guns ablazing, the blowback leaves me stargazing, while up above my head is waving a white flag of love, amazing, reminding me articulation is liberation. Silence is violence, but aggression is oppression. A good confession brings great possessions. So bleed your blues, then carefully choose weapons you will use to heal your wounds. Words and worship war. And some things are worth fighting for. So let's ground ourselves in purpose here. Let's get rooted in purpose so that our mental wealth tree will be strong and stable. So, the purpose of this conversation today is to remind you that when you come into contact with deep pain, frustration, rage, anger, bitterness, all of these emotions that threaten to derail you from your purpose, when you look at what is going on in the world today and you're distressed by what you see around you, we have a choice to make. We can be angry, lash out, self-destruct, or we can choose to resist with weapons that will actually help us to persist in our determination to overcome. I really have been struggling with some of the things that I've been seeing on the news and hearing about what's taking place in our nation and talking to kids who are suffering greatly, and it seems like no one is connecting with their condition. No one who is in a position to support them is actually doing anything, and it causes me this pain. And so then I'm angry and I'm sad and I don't know how to respond. And then I realize that some things, like my joy and my peace and my blessed assurance, are worth fighting for, and that I must decide how I want to resist and push back on what's pushing up against me. Now, I'm not traditionally a fighter, but there have been moments in my life where I just got tipped a little bit too far over the edge. And my bestie, Janae, remembers when we were in medical school, it was election day. And we went down to the polls, and I got my paperwork ready. I stood in the line for an hour or more. I was proud. It was one of the first times that I was able to vote in a presidential election. So I was feeling empowered. I was going to make Martin proud. I was going to make Rosa proud. I was going to make Sojourner proud. And I get up to the table, and this white guy with some glasses and a scruffy beard, he looked through the rolls and he said, "Oh, I see your name. Can I see your license?" And I had a South Carolina license, but I was voting in North Carolina. And so he said to me, "Oh, your address doesn't match up with this, so you need to get a absentee ballot." And then I went over to get the absentee ballot, and they said, "Oh no, you need a provisional ballot." And then something got stirred up inside of me. I started to get frustrated because I said, "Oh no, you're not gonna stop me from voting today." So if I had a wig on, I would have pulled it off, because it smelled like disenfranchisement to me. And all I heard in the back of my mind was Malcolm from the movie saying, "We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us." And you know what I said? I said, "Oh no, not today. Ain't no Plymouth Rock's gonna be landing on me." And I got sassy, and I started doing what I do when I feel like there's something worth fighting for. So the moral of the story is, I got agitated enough to advocate for what I wanted. And at the end of the day, I was able to go and pull the curtain and press the button and choose who I wanted to be our next leader. I got dogs, little tiny dogs, Josie and Jackson. Sometimes I'm walking around in the kitchen just minding my business, and out of nowhere, Jackson will get turned up. He gets crunk and he starts. I'm like, what's going on? What happened? There was a bone that he thought that Josie was trying to get to. That bone to him was worth fighting for. He usually don't bark. Josie is the barker. But when the bone was at stake, Jackson said, "This bone is worth fighting for." So my question for you is, do you feel like your joy is worth fighting for? Is your contentment worth contending for? Is your peace worth throwing a few punches for? A lot of people these days and times are fading fast, saddened by what they see, sapped of energy. But in this current mood, when doom and gloom are looming, if you want to feel joyful and alive, you must decide that some things are worth fighting for. I hear you. How do we fight? How do we resist soul-sucking sadness and reach for heart healing and happiness? Two ways that I want to talk to you about today. I'm finally getting to the point. Reading and rejoicing. Now I hear you. Reading all this that's going on in the world, and you want to tell me that reading is a way to resist? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Reading. I wonder why they are banning certain books from the schools. And I wonder why when I was in high school and tried to mail my uncle who was in prison the autobiography of Frederick Douglass, Up from Slavery, The Invisible Man, Why We Can't Wait by Martin Luther King, why they sent those books back and said return to sender. What is it about books and words that are so dangerous? Well, let me tell you. Books and words can reshape our thinking, ignite our ingenuity, and form our faith. So, reading is fundamental, RIF. Reshape, ignite, and form. When we read content that is positive and uplifting and engaging and feeds our spirit new information, we are reshaping our thinking and retraining our focus. When we get a mindset shift, it ignites our ingenuity. It causes us to be creative, and those problems that we were facing, we get a revelation of how we can address it. What do I need to do differently? How do I shift? How do I change? How do I come up with a strategy to attack what's attacking me? How do I think differently from the status quo? How can I develop strategy to be successful? By reading. Reading ignites ingenuity and forms our faith, particularly if we are reading content that is full of faith. If I read the story of somebody who overcame a situation that they thought they weren't going to be able to overcome, if I read a testimony about this is how I scaled the heights and got to the peak of success, I'm getting faith. I'm borrowing faith from the story of somebody who went before me and stepped out on faith and did something, and at the end of the day, they were able to stand on top of the mountain and be victorious. So reading is resistance, and this is why books are being banned. So I suggest to you that you go find out what books have been banned, and you choose you some books that resonate with you off of that list. Don't wait for the schools to educate your children. You educate them. If they banned the books from the schools, they can't be banned from your house. So reading is resistance. Rejoicing is resistance. There is a story about an army led by Joshua who was trying to get what God had promised, step over into territory that was supposed to be his, but there was this wall between him and the promise. But God said, don't worry about the wall. Praise until it falls. Praise is a call for help based on with all that is within me, for all that is within me, in all that I am in. So we can get caught up in what's going on and what executive order is being signed and who's ending their policy on this and their policy on that. Or we can latch on to the concept of rejoicing in the Lord always. Always. So are we passing down the freedom songs that got people who were in a massive struggle, who were facing a no way out of no way situation? They sung songs like we shall overcome and can't nobody turn me around, turn me around. Are you teaching your kids the freedom songs? Are you rejoicing in your house, singing unto your creator? I want you to consider celebrating small wins. I want you to consider celebrating begins. And I want you to consider celebrating ends. And I want you to come up with your own victory celebration. We're in the playoffs. And the football players, when they go into the end zone and they get the touchdown, they do a little jig, they do a little something. What is your victory dance? How do you rejoice? How do you celebrate new beginnings? How do you celebrate small wins? How do you celebrate the ending of things that were not good experiences for you? I want you to, every day this week, write out what is going well. And I want you to do a victory dance. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. I'm rejoicing. And I want you to see how you feel. If your sadness is transforming into gladness. If you feel lighter in your spirit. And I want us to continue to resist the soul-sucking sadness that wants to grip us in this moment of great turmoil and distress. Thank you for tuning in to the Mental Wealth Tree. Thank you for taking the time to sit and digest this. If this was okay with your soul, like it, subscribe to the channel, and come back for more. Be well until next time.